he actually he did an interview where he was talking about how he the thing that he misses about YouTube, it's like, it's like all commercials and trailers, and it's just like a place for people to sell things. But he's like, back in the day when YouTube first started, it was the Wild West, where there was just like crazy things out there, and that was the appeal for him originally, and that's why he released. He made a deal where what got sold to Netflix, but he was like, I will only do this if it can also get released to YouTube for free, because YouTube is how I found fame, and how I kind of like the people who watch me on YouTube are the reason why I am where I am. So
nice.
Yeah,
and that's why we put our podcast on YouTube. Welcome back to another episode of Sessions with Mary Jane. I am your host, Jordan Freed,
and I am your other host, Brendan O'Brien,
and I'm Bo Burnham. No. We didn't say who we were talking about, so I just had to slip it in there.
That's right.
I'm Reena Ezra.
Yes.
And we are back with a very wonderful guest this week. She's been tearing up the Hudson Valley, New York State, Northeast of America comedy scene. You probably have seen her somewhere if you're listening to this. Dayna Marie.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always good to have Warwickians, since
now we have three.
Two.
Yeah,
Brendan's
I'm from Warwick. You're from Warwick.
Yeah.
Brendan's from Warwick. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Are you actually from Warwick, or are you just manufacture because they pretend I'm from Warwick, but you are actually
because he was born at St.
His
Anthony's
birth
Hospital.
certificate he is born in Warwick.
I'm from Greenwood.
There's a myth,
so.
right? But Greenwood Lake is a borough of Warwick.
Yeah, right there.
Yes.
Yeah. I was born in Warwick, also St. Anthony's.
Yeah.
That's
right. Yeah.
But I grew up there.
Yeah.
Such a popular hospital.
Yeah, a lot of babies there.
Not a good reason.
No. Yeah. It might be a silly question, but is Marie your last name?
No, it's my middle name.
Okay, what's your last name?
I knew it.
Christensen?
I had a feeling Marie was a middle name.
Yeah. It's a very common middle name.
Yeah, not a common last name, really.
True,
definitely
all,
not.
no.
And it's way too hard for people to say Dayna, so Christensen is a far-fetched.
Really? Is it hard for people to say Dayna?
It's
It
unbelievable.
has day.
I know. It's phonetic. So why is it? But Diana, I get Dina, I get all these weird ones. I'm like, what? Are you looking at the name?
Yeah, I had the same experience with my name.
Yeah.
Reena.
Yeah.
Reena.
Yeah.
There's no other way you can say it.
Renee.
But Renee,
Oh.
yeah. Rihanna, what? I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Rihanna? No, don't do two different pronunciations for those E's. They're the same.
Rihanna.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is baffling how badly people can mess up a name. Even when they know you sometimes. I've had people who I've known for years who call me Brian or Brandon still, so yeah. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm not gonna correct you anymore. Because at a certain point, it's you can try to correct people, but people are gonna whatever they have in their head, they're gonna say it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So do you live in Warwick currently?
I live in Middletown, so it's 20 minutes from Warwick.
Yes.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I had to get out of Warwick.
Yeah,
right?
I did.
You had to leave
It
that.
really did. It's too yuppie now. A lot of city people moved up to upstate during the pandemic and everything like that. But Warwick specifically is a hotbed for snobby people, I feel at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just lost a lot of community, and I just had to spread my wings and fly 20 minutes away to Middletown.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what did you like about Warwick's character when you were growing up?
Nothing.
Good answer.
I was going to ask you, what did you like and what did you dislike? But
This is my favorite episode now already.
Feel free. I did not grow up there. I grew up in Bergen County, in Lyndhurst and Mahwah, New Jersey. So what is it? I mean, I know, Jordan and Brendan being from there, but what is it? What is it that you did not favor?
I don't know. It was just there was nothing really to do. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a small farm town, and they can make as many hippie shops as they want, which is cool, and that's what I gravitated towards. But at the end of the day, it's farms, and that's sort of it. So you would hang out in people's houses, and then I don't know. There's a wide range between super duper regular people just chilling at a below middle class range, and then there's these random mansions in the middle of Warwick with all these rich kids, and you're what? There's such a weird in between that I couldn't really know.
Gotcha.
That, and then
and there's such a surplus now. They're building even more mansions.
Yeah, now it's I think it's majority that. which is another reason why. Not that I don't like people that have money, like that's not a real thing, but like I love everyone with money. Give me it.
I love your money so much. I love you, but I love your money more.
I love your money more. Give me some.
Yeah, you hear that, money listener or money owners out there?
Fund. Yeah, come to my comedy show.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, when did you get into doing stand-up comedy? Or comedy in general, I guess?
So I started 6 months before the pandemic,
Okay.
and then obviously stopped for a good majority of that. And I got back to it like May of 2021. So I round out like 2.5 years-ish. So
interesting time to dive into comedy.
Yeah, to decide that I wanted to do something like in person and then have that all be shut down. Yeah. But it's all right. I mean, it's just, you get to meet cool people either way. So
how's your experience been?
Great. For the most part, it's a lot of learning and a lot of failing and a lot of ego stuff and just like you're in your head a lot. But for the most part, I like writing. I like talking in front of people and I love making people laugh. So why wouldn't I like doing that?
What was the content that you decided you're like, oh, I want to share this? Was it just observations in the world or also personal stuff or...
Yeah, it was mostly cancer. Which I love.
And not the astrological sign.
Yes.
So I've had lymphoma for 10 years now. And when I first got sick, there's like an influx of people that start contacting you when anything bad happens. You're like, whoa, oh my gosh, everyone like actually likes me or whatever. And then they sort of like give you your space. So like a lot of people drop off. A lot of people don't want to talk to you. And there's just like weird boundary about talking about cancer and like what that means, but like also you're changing as a person. So there's a lot of learning and growth there. But I felt like I really wanted to like connect with people about it and just like more so humanize the fact that like, yeah, I'm sick, but like I'm also still me in some sort of capacity and I can still like hang out.
Yeah.
I just might be on the couch and like in sweats and chilling, but and then too, just like making fun of the crazy shit that happens during like hospital stays or like just like life in general with cancer as like a young person.
Yeah.
Because like the dynamic of having such a old person disease when you're just graduated college is super weird. So like not only do you feel weird with your friends, but you also feel weird like in the context of the disease itself. Like I go to the hospital all the time and like it's just old people there. So I'm just like hanging out with them, which is fine by me. But also I wanted to like just talk about it more because, everyone's affected by cancer in some sort of way. If you don't have it yourself, you know someone that has it or you like are just around it and heard of it. So just being more aware of that and bringing that to a more public forum. And like I tried stuff with like YouTube. That was fun too. I tried like Instagram stuff, but I don't know, it's just something about like being in front of people and like just being in their face and just like sort of forcing them to be in that space with you is sort of fun to me.
Yeah, so the first time I heard you was at, I feel like it was before Drownlands, but I can't recall, so I'm just going to say Drownlands is the first, like, when you did, oh my god, when was that show? Jordan, I don't even remember.
Several months ago.
Thank you.
Yes.
General fall time.
Yes, it was the fall. Yeah, it was kind of so weird after lockdown. Yeah, it was. You could like feel it. This is probably bad to say, but I got excited because you started out, and I was just like, oh. It was like, and you can feel also like the audience doesn't know how to react or doesn't know how you are putting them in that space, and they're like, oh, we're talking about this because they're so like, they're like, oh, I'm gonna laugh and it's gonna be something stupid and silly, but I like this shit when it's real. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I have like, what can you say about this? This is your experience, and you're also, choosing what to make fun of or shed light on, and this and that, whatever. So I was hooked.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, because it is sort of like. I don't know, I sort of feel like Mark Maron sometimes when I go in.
We all feel like Mark Maron sometimes, I think.
So you're just like, oh, fart jokes.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but it's fun. I mean, I'm glad that you appreciate it because some people don't. But it's also, I like making people feel uncomfortable. Like when you just ask, like, why'd you get into comedy? My favorite thing is just be like, cancer. Like,
Yeah.
That's an answer.
yeah, very blunt like that.
Yeah. Was there an element of like finding the humor in like the situation was like a part of the reason why you did go into comedy to begin with?
Yeah, I think I definitely just make light of a lot of terrible situations. Like cancer is one of the many things that, you know, have been in my past. Like my house burned down when I was like in 8th grade. Like all these like crazy fucking weird things that happen to like almost no one. So I always have to try to like normalize what's happening in some sort of way, and sort of like by doing that I'm just making people laugh in the sense, because it's like it's so heavy that I'm like I have to just like make you laugh about it because it's just incredibly insane like these things happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How can I ask? How was it moving past the house fire? At such
that
a
was
young
like
age?
yeah.
How old were you?
I was in 8th grade, so what, like
13,
14? Yeah, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Math.
Gotcha.
8th grade.
Yeah.
It taught that in 8th grade.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that was when I first experienced like denial and just like suppressing reality.
Yeah.
I lived with my friends, so that was cool. Like I got to like stay with them the whole time. My parents like
So
were in
just
between
sleepovers
houses.
to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm
Yeah.
staying here for a while.
Yeah, it was just like a like hangout basically,
Mm.
and I just like sort of forgot about the whole situation, and then I moved into like a rental with my parents a couple months later, and I still like didn't even really process it, but yeah, that was my.
How was your attachment to things?
Terrible. Like I would lose things always. Like I always was like a wandering nomad in college. Like I just had like a bag.
So you're
I
the
just
best
went
person
around.
to have a house fire.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Now,
Yeah, you and Mary
exactly.
Poppins.
Yeah. Exactly. I always had like a traveling gypsy bag. I had this huge bag that I would lug around with me with all my belongings. But yeah, it probably fucked me up a lot. But I found a place, and I feel like this house that we're living in now in Middletown is the first time that I'm like, okay, like this is a space that I'm going to stay in for a while.
Mhm.
And it's like I can make changes and do whatever, and it's still going to be there, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Because things that felt temporary for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like apartments, going this and that, and you're never really like stable, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, this roommate moved out, so we have to move out because we can't afford the rent and like all this stuff. But we have like a steady apartment, and I live with my partner, so it's all steady now.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. What's the most important part of a place that you live that makes it feel like home for you?
Ooh.
I like that question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thanks.
I think probably.
Now you have to answer after.
I know.
So that's the hard question.
I'm like, well, probably like, honestly, probably just having I have 3 cats and 2 dogs, like just having animals with me and like having a space for them, because I'm not good at like decorating. I'm not good at like fixing things. So like, it's not the space around me. It's just like the things that are in it.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't even have to be organized in a certain way for me to feel like it's home.
Yeah.
It's hard to decorate.
Oh,
though.
God.
Like, look at our walls. There's nothing on here. It's so... Like, only finally put something on the wall.
Look at this wall. This wall.
It's so...
That wall over there. Half the wall.
Also, because we rent, I never want to nail anything in. But
Yeah.
I'm also like, I'm just like, well, it's just overwhelming. There's so many things that could be on here, that could be hung.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what's good? What's right? Like, does this match? Does this go? Like, colors?
No.
Colors have to match?
What the hell? I cannot.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
Yeah, curtain colors. My mom's like, what color curtains are you gonna? I'm like, I don't know. One's good.
Yeah.
Clear.
And then you think it's a good idea to go online and
No.
search. Terrible idea. Terrible.
Mhm.
Don't do that, because then you'll be flustered. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Talking about recent experience.
Now we're getting personal.
But yeah, and then the thing I hate, last thing I'll say, is when people do mix and match, but it works.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I would have never put these colors that don't go together and these furniture pieces or whatever, but it looks great. And then you try it and you're like, this looks like shit.
And it's not cheap. It's not like,
oh my god, no.
Like, I just spent a boatload of money on something that like is not looking good. And
especially after the pandemic, everything racked up in price, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm using a cardboard box.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. It's the same
classic.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a classic.
Doesn't go out of style.
When something happens to that, I just get another box.
Another one, easy. Plenty of them.
Yeah, you know, furniture's brown. This is brown. It works.
Yeah, exactly.
And what was your thing, Brendan?
What was my thing?
What makes you feel like you're at home? She said animals.
It's kind of like hippy dippy answer, but I guess like the energy, like the energy has to feel good. Like I feel like that's like
it's so hippy dippy.
Yeah. Also the floor, like floors are ideal. So like I think just having like a good floor, which sounds silly, but I'm like honestly because you know I was talking to my girlfriend about like how like homes used to have carpeting in them, and now I feel like I would not like to live in a house with carpeting at all. Like
is it style hardwood now?
Like. Maybe one room is like the carpet room, but then everything else gotta be hardwood floor, like marble or something, tiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for cleaning purposes too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, good thing they made Swiffer.
Yeah.
Do you like sage for energy? Is that what you do?
No, I just accept the energy, whatever it is.
I would just
I go for the best.
I was trying to change it.
Yeah, I don't affect it. I just accept whatever energy is
smoke
there.
weed in this phase.
Right. That's the sage. Yeah.
Nice.
That's the stage that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's your favorite place that you've ever like either stayed in or I guess like lived in or just place, location?
I mean, favorite place I liked probably we lived in a apartment in the village of Warwick. That was right by Halligan's.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most fun place.
Yeah.
Explain for people who don't know, what is Halligan's?
Oh, it's a bar. It's a terrible bar.
Not everybody who's from Warwick not all Warwickians listen to the podcast.
This is true. Just
okay, bar, got it.
Your local Irish bar.
Yeah.
It is one of 3 Irish pubs.
Yeah.
Who knows? Could have been a hat store, could have been,
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was just fun because it's like you could walk everywhere. I could walk to get coffee. I worked at a restaurant at that time too, so I could walk to my job, like wake up 5 minutes before.
Was that Fanny's?
Yeah, I worked at
Fanny's is fire.
I love walking as much as I love sitting.
Mm.
But I love,
They're both great.
They're both great.
Yeah.
But the whole convenient distance where you can just go somewhere, leave the house, and be like, oh, this is right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything like at least 10 minutes away feels like I'm like, no, I don't know. I can do that later.
Yeah.
Like going to the grocery store from Warwick is like maybe 10 minutes, maybe less. But for some reason, I was like, I have to drive there?
Yeah. It's more of a commitment to like get in the car, close the door, start it up.
Really difficult things.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part and least favorite part of working in food?
Favorite part was that my boss so I worked at Fanny's. It was a breakfast and lunch place that's farm to table and everything's made from scratch. And the food is fantastic, absolutely amazing. And the best part was that my boss is amazing, and she's a head chef and would let you order whatever the fuck you wanted. Mm-hmm. Each person that worked there.
That's cool.
So every day, because you usually get staff meal where it's just like, yeah, you just pick it whatever the chef fucking makes you. Like you have no say if you like it or not. Like who cares? You have to work for 8 hours and like deal with it. Mm. But like she would ask you what you wanted, and you could have an entire meal of this beautiful, glorious food every day. And like it was
so generous. Wow.
So good. Honestly, there are times where I'm like, I should just go work at Fanny's. Because it was so good. And it is. It's amazing. Anyone that's around Warwick should go to Fanny's for breakfast. But
what's their best dish?
The best dish probably is an egg baguette with pork sausage, if you eat that. But it's just like an egg and cheese sandwich, but their baguette is so soft but crispy and delicious. And then they have like a homemade hot sauce. Homemade ketchup, everything is so good there. But that's a staple. That's a big staple. And then they have like great specials every day. Yeah. But it's such good. And then what was the worst? The worst thing about working in service?
Yeah.
The people.
Can't live without.
Exactly. And for the most part, we had such nice customers that came there. But it was like during like apple season as a big tourist time for Warwick.
Yeah.
So like that sort of time when people didn't know like that we're a small like 6-table restaurant. Like we're not churning out IHOP style, you know, like things take a minute to cook, you know. There's only like 3 people in the entire building working for you. Like, so there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And just the things that they would complain about. And especially because that was my first like customer service job after like getting into a serious, like off of a serious treatment where I was sort of like isolated from a lot of like society. And so to come back and to like hear the complaints that people had was honestly so trivial and so like painful to my soul to hear. Like the coffee not being scorching hot or the coffee being scorching hot or like everything. I was like, how are you finding like the smallest things the most important thing in your life and in your meal when like this is just a blip in your radar for like a second? It was just unbelievable. So yeah.
People need something to complain about.
Girl, so
I feel like they don't know what to do with themselves if they're not complaining, or it's just, they're just so used to it.
Yeah.
What is that? Why is that? Why do? I guess there's a lot of reasons why.
I think they just had probably like so much stuff that is always wrong with them that like it just got to be like a normal. So like if anything's not wrong, they have to find something to be like, oh, that's normal to them, like a certain state of unhappiness.
Honestly, I think people are used to a level of discomfort or misery, and or it's also media where you always see stuff on TV or movies and people are like complaining about their jobs. Some people always complain about their jobs. They have always something to like, or it's a family or something like, yes, they have to comment and remark about something. I'm no different. I definitely do that. Yeah. But then sometimes you take a step back and you're like, was this really that bad? Like, did I have to complain? Like, does it matter? Yeah. Like, does it fucking matter? Also, I don't understand why people want their coffee scorching hot. Tongue, like, how do you do what?
Yeah, I don't get
Calm
it.
down.
Yeah. What's like the stupidest complaint you think you can remember hearing?
Stupider than that?
Coffee temperature was a constant.
It was a constant?
And then like the Chinese.
I brought my own thermometer.
One guy sent back. So this guy sent back his eggs.
BYOT.
And he would not pay for them. He said, "I'm not going to pay for these eggs because they were over easy and not over medium." I swear to God. He didn't pay for the meal. Walked out. And I was like, how pretentious could you be?
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
You didn't even, and like we made, the worst part was that like someone overheard it, the chef overheard it and like made him new eggs, didn't eat them and just left. I was like, what is wrong with this person? But
I hope he got cancer.
Sorry,
that was bad.
The eggs were all sticking bad. Fuck you.
But you could say that. You could, you have the right.
I could. I honestly would not wish it on anyone.
No, I did. That was a total joke.
Except for maybe one person.
You know who you are out there.
Exactly. No, that'd be terrible.
Yeah. What do you think? What's like the most important skill you picked up from working in a restaurant?
Time management, for sure. Prioritizing, like, tasks. And, like, follow up. I feel like that's what I've learned the most. Because, like, when things are going really fast, you just have to, like, remember what tables you have, who's, like, kind of chill and, like, can wait for a minute, and or, like, sitting around and talking, and who, like, needs to get their stuff immediately. So, like, time management for sure.
Yeah.
And, like, people management.
Yeah, it's interpersonal,
Yeah.
I feel like you see, like, very, like different, like, types of people, too. So you see, like, a range of, like, how people react to certain things. Both people that you work with, but also people that like, you are serving also. Because some people, it's, like, they are just, like, cool being, I'm going to wait. I'm, like, a patient person. I'm going to go. I can, like, wait. And there's people who are, like, the worst.
You serve me.
Yeah.
So I work in a restaurant right now. I work in a sushi restaurant. And I've always said that, like, there are some people who do, like, the thing of getting to cosplay as, like, being a richer person than they are. And, like, nothing makes you feel, like, richer sometimes than, like, knowing that you're, like, being waited on. And some people, like, really relish in that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is interesting. Even like culturally, like I used to work at Levi's
Mm-hmm.
and we had a lot of tourists come in, and some people that would come would just be like normal, whatever, like here, like, can you help me find the size, whatever. But there would be some like people that would come up to you and expect for you to like wait on them hand and foot, like carry their jeans like with them as they like go through. Like I was like, I'm not a personal shopper, like that's a whole different experience, like I'm not here to do that. But I'll help you find your size. There's just like other customers, like I was busy, like there was a lot of stuff going on. Or else if they were just like, if it was now and there's no one in the store, you know, that's fine. I would walk around with them all the time. But it was just like the expectation that like that's what service is to them. And I'm like, okay, very different. Very different.
Yeah, we're just entitled.
Yeah.
Some people just very entitled.
Yeah. What's the most important thing you learned being a stand-up comedian?
Important. In terms of stand-up, probably like, what's most important in terms of stand-up? To probably like know, I feel like, I don't know if it's important for everyone else, but for me specifically, it was important to hear what I was saying to the crowd and like understand what I was going to say next. Because I know that sounds sort of weird, but I'm also getting kind of high, so
I will totally understand what you meant. Yeah.
Because like I'm saying it to them, and like for a while when I first started in stand-up, I couldn't remember what I said on stage at all. I still can't sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I just said. Couldn't tell you. But there was like a point where I was like, I can't like understand what they're hearing. So like I had to sort of just do it constantly and just like keep doing it before I could be like, okay, I said this joke and like it went like this, and I remember that they reacted this way. But that took me like a minute for some reason, and I don't know if it's just me, but yeah, that.
Well, it's experimentation, right? Trial and error, and also you get different reactions depending on the crowd.
Yeah.
Right. Also, because you don't know your audience's sense of humor.
Yeah.
You're just going by your sense of humor and your material and then some people in the crowd could be totally like, oh yeah, I'm totally, in on this. And then other people are just like, oh, I don't get it, or don't relate, or don't, like, it doesn't register, or it is like a shared experience. Yeah. For sure.
And then like trying to like poke at them if they're feeling uncomfortable and trying to like poke at them. That's something I'm still obviously working on, but it's fun. That's what I like too. It's just like constant learning and like constant like growing with your craft. I think that's just my favorite part about it.
That's what I do admire about comedians though, specifically stand-ups, where you guys really know how to like settle and rest in the discomfort. You like initiating it also, or if it happens and if you're, I don't even want to say like bombing necessarily, or there's some like you just don't get certain feedback that you expect, but you know how to sit with it. Like that's hard. That's not like, who puts themselves through that? That's why understand. But then that's why it's, as an audience member, when you see somebody, you watching them work on it live and then get themselves from one area where there may feel like discomfort with the audience or whatever, and then they travel to another area and everyone's on board. And you're like, holy shit, they just flipped it. They're like, wow, they just weaseled their way out. Like, they just, like, yes, there are comedians who cannot do that. I will say, I do find, and of course this is biased because I am a woman, but I do find that women, like, out of the comedians that I've seen, like if they're bombing or whatever, I don't know. I don't know if it's like communication or connection or something that a woman has. I feel like I've seen them be able to like ease their way if they're in a sticky situation or whatever it is, not getting the right fit. Like I've seen them just go through it smoothly, but guys, I feel like keep batting. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but the dude, you're like, dude, no, stop. Like, just quit it. You're not getting it. It's not good, whatever. But a woman listens. I don't know. Like, I feel like they're more I just feel more seen, or more like, if they're like, oh, okay, this is not, let me redirect, or let me, and of course I've seen male comedians totally do it successfully, but I feel like it's just different. It's different when you see a woman go up there and you're just like, oh, I feel like they're way more aware of certain things in this room than this guy is. Yeah, and like a guy is just like, oh, I think so highly of myself, and I'm just gonna
I know my shit's funny.
Yeah, or that, like you were saying, ego, and you have to have a level of ego to think, oh, what I have to say is so important. Give me the mic. Yeah. You have to have that to be any performer, entertainer. You have to be like, oh, I feel like I am this good at this level. Yeah, you know, it is that level of confidence. Absolutely. But it's just interesting to see, you know, each person do it. Yeah. What is your, I mean, how many women have you met when you like started doing comedy, and then in person or virtually if you're doing, you know, Zoom shows? I mean, I know it's overwhelmingly male, but how was it, or co-hosting with people, or being on a lineup with other people? Like, how was that in general? Like the, I guess, connection with male versus connection with female.
Yeah, you're right, there's not that many women, for sure, around Hudson Valley.
Especially
area.
where you're doing, that's what I mean, specifically this region.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I love women, I love working with them, and I love, like, women in comedy. I also have worked with women for the majority of my life, so it was sort of nice to flip to a male-dominated space for me personally. The only thing was that I did that in two aspects, so I switched over to, like, web development, which is also another male-dominated space. So I did that and comedy at the same time, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot of guys all at one time. Like, it was very different, which, like, okay, I just jumped right into it. But it was interesting. That, too, was, like, a learning process, like, how they react to people, like, how to talk to them. Yeah. Dude, like, so many guys just don't listen, you know, like so many guys just don't listen to women, just point blank, and like, sure, majority of guys do, and like it's getting better, but for sure there's people that like just don't even look at you, and I'm like, cool, okay, whatever.
I don't even think it's their fault sometimes. I'm just like, oh, you are conditioned. Like, you just grew up at this, you only know this way. Okay, I get it. I'm the opposite. I went from in the corporate field working with a lot of men, and now I'm working in a company with majority women, which is awesome, and only one guy. So it's just very different.
Which is, that's probably really interesting for you.
It's fun. Yeah, it's definitely fun.
But yeah, you know, I think that I love meeting new people in general. I always gravitate towards the women that are in stand-up and doing stand-up. I always try to like make friends with them. And yeah.
Do they get catty? Are there any in like, you know?
You know, I don't really like focus on it. I think it's probably a detriment of mine, honestly. Because I really like, I used to judge people. I'm going to say, like, I used to judge people pretty hard when I was in college. And it was like, I was living in the city and I was like, I'm the hottest shit, blah, 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 blah. You know, like stupid fucking, I had thought so much about other people and what they were thinking about me. And, you know, I was like in my 20s, whatever the fuck. But like, I cut that so hard after I got cancer. Like, it just really brought me down to like level 0, honestly. And like, everyone has their own shit that they're going through. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't judge anyone for the most part. Like, I really keep it, unless I like, I don't know. I really don't even, I can overcome like anyone's shit that they're going through because I'm like, whatever, dude, you know, you can change as a person. It might take me longer to get through some people's shit if they like really did something, but for the most part, I really don't judge anyone's shit. Like, you can be whoever the fuck you want, you know? But, and that's what I like about comics too. Like, they all have like some deep fucking shit that they're dealing with, you know? Mm-hmm. So like, I just want to like talk to you as a one-on-one. We're trying to have fun, you know? I'm not trying to like think about, you know, what does this person think about me, or like what are they really thinking, or who are they really? Like, I don't fuck. Like, unless I'm hanging out with you on a day-to-day basis, like unless I'm like dating you, go about your way, you know. Like,
have you dated a comic?
No. No, my boyfriend's very funny. He
But he's not
inspires me a
depressed.
lot. Yeah.
I don't mean that to, generally all of them, but they are like...
Absolutely. No, he's a musician, so he's got his own.
Oh, he's got his own problems.
Yeah, exactly.
What instrument does he play?
He mostly plays guitar and bass, but he's one of these people that can just pick up anything and just start playing it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm really not like that at all.
Yeah.
I can't play a single instrument.
Yeah. Which one would, like, if you could, like, magically have the ability to play an instrument, which instrument would it be?
I always wanted to play drums.
Ooh, same, yeah.
Yeah, I tried a little bit, but then I just, like, for some reason, like, my coordination, I can do, like, the two things, but once I have to do another thing, it's just, like, a mess.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I got the two, and that's it.
It's like your brain is splitting in, like, 5 different directions.
Yeah. Like, just one and two.
Yeah. How is it? Okay, so you and your partner, both artists, right? Doing something very creative. What is it that you've learned from each other that has helped you in your own life, or something, either a quality or a perspective or something that he has, or very different brain being a musician.
Yeah.
But yeah, creatively, like something he's like tapped into where you're like, oh.
I think that he always, like, if we were to go to a museum, like, he goes to the weirdest, like, in my opinion, the weirdest exhibit. Like, we went to this, we went to the Met or something like that, and you were in the Egyptian section for, like, God knows how long. And I was like, the hieroglyphics is what we're staring at? What? I was like, there's like huge paintings down the wall. And you're just, but then, I was super high with him, and I was just like, this is actually pretty fucking cool, and I would have never given it the time of day, and
It opens up your mind, yeah.
Yeah, but like, I was staring at this hieroglyphics, I was like, someone carved these into it, and then
wait, did you guys like take an edible and then go to the museum?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. You're like, I'm starting to understand the hieroglyphics now.
You're Egyptian. Amazing. Weed is awesome. Wait, what's the kind of art that you're gravitated toward when you go to a museum?
I do like, I like a lot of paintings, but sculptures usually is my go-to.
Yeah.
That amazes me. Like,
Yeah.
how smooth it is and how detailed it is just, like, blows my mind. So I love to look at that.
Yeah.
Especially they're super old.
Yeah.
When I was in Greece, I was like, holy crap. Majority of all of this is still intact.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was like, what?
Yeah, and sculpting is effing hard. Like,
Yeah.
like, if you've ever tried sculpting, it's like...
Never tried it.
To make it look like a person, like, is one thing, but, like, it's like you're like, all right, chipped off that part, you're like, fuck, chipped off too much, you're like, great, I'm just making a smaller box now.
You're telling me I'm just supposed to chisel on this rock?
Yeah, you're right.
And then make a girl with 2 tits? What?
What's this do?
How do I make a curve out of this jagged fucking thing?
Yeah.
And make it smooth? What?
Yeah.
Also back then where they didn't have like, a buffer or like tools that they have today where they polish and shine and like rough around the air or smooth around the edges or
That's what
whatever.
I'm saying. It blows my mind.
Yeah. Whenever I see an ice sculptor, all the time when I see ice sculptors, I'm like, wow, that's so amazing. Yeah.
Every day I see
Every
it.
day. Yeah, mostly in July. And so like whenever I see them, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And then I'm like, oh, it sucks. It's gonna be gone soon. Like it's like they make it knowing it's going to melt.
Yeah.
Unless you keep it in like an ice box, but like
That's true. I never even thought of that really, or gave it too much thought.
Yeah, but there are some people who do like that part of art, like the thing of like you make it and then you get rid of it, and like.
To be fair, Brendan, you do improv.
Do.
You do improv, and that's gone. It's gone. That's it. No one else is. I mean, I guess if you record it, but it's live.
Well,
you have that live experience, and that's it.
That's what it is. A live experience. That's probably the same thing for stand up too. It's because even if you're doing stand up and you're doing the same jokes, like that audience is particular. Like you'll never replicate that audience in that room the same exact way ever again. So it's like that's why it's so important to like say that when you do an improv show, to be like, so you know, like this show is never going to happen ever again. So it's like this is literally just for the eyeballs, and like that's something you need to really be able to like harp on in order to get people to come out to a live comedy show in general. Speaking of which, in the middle of the podcast, do you have any shows coming up that you want to plug or promote or talk about?
Oh man, when does this come out?
It comes out now.
This is coming out now.
Oh,
Today is probably Wednesday or later, whenever somebody's listening to this. Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's about Wednesday or later. Maybe it's Tuesday if I feel ambitious tomorrow.
Someone's listening to this. Wow, Jordan's right. It is Wednesday.
You're like, it's actually we're live.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, it's out already because you're listening to it. So thank you for listening to this podcast.
Yeah, no, it comes out kind of immediately.
That's awesome.
Unless you have a show tomorrow that you're trying to plug.
No Valentine's stuff. Yeah.
No, thankfully.
Yeah.
No one's really trying to listen to cancer. No, I would. No, no, I wouldn't.
I don't know.
You'll know if you go on Valentine's Day. You see Dayna. You'll know she did.
I have a show in Beacon on Friday the 17th.
Ooh,
at 8
Beacon.
p.m. Two-Way Brewery. One on the Thursday the 23rd at City Lounge in
nice.
fucking
Lyndhurst, right over here. If only it was tonight that you had your show.
Yeah. And then I have one on the 24th that I'm trying to find the address to, but it's in Poughkeepsie.
It's cool.
So follow me on Instagram or something. Cause I don't
just go to Poughkeepsie and you walk around until you find it.
Really,
right?
I'll be on the street promoting for the most part. No.
Yeah, look for signs. It's like cancer on them.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, most famous. Yeah, follow those signs.
Yeah.
And you'll find the show.
Yeah. Yeah, and while we're talking about live shows and stuff coming up, this Friday, the 17th of February, we are having a screening at Foreign Objects in Monroe, which is a dope-ass brewery, and we're screening Beware the Horn, our feature film, so come on out for that. And then the 24th, which is also a Friday, we're doing a show over in Ossining at the Westchester Collaborative Theater with Blind Tiger. We're doing the interdimensional improv show where we go through different realities, space, and time periods in an improv show with one character. And then we got some stand-up coming up too, Jordan.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. February 25th, we got a stand-up show at Annabella's House of Mozzarella, Annabella's Comedy Lounge, as I like to call it affectionately, with our lounge singer, Mr. William Pompeo, the Master Don over there at the Annabella's House of Cheese. We got Nick Callis coming back, who he tore down the house the last time he was there, so he was just like, I think I'm gonna come back and tear down the house again. So he's coming back. We also have Tiz Irie, who is a great comic from down in central Jersey-ish area, and he's amazing. And Sarah Ross, who I have not seen before, but she has performed at the Comedy Store and South by Southwest and a bunch of other places, and she's very funny as well. And we might actually have some special guests. There's actually a New Orleans comedian who might come through, who is looking for some extra dates, so we'll see if we get that special guest. And, you know, there's always surprises. The surprise isn't just what's in the middle of a cannoli. It's sometimes...
Wait, are you surprised by what's in the middle of a cannoli usually?
At how good it tastes.
Oh, yeah.
What is this? How does this taste so good?
To be in there?
Yeah, some jam.
I thought this cannoli just had peanut butter.
Wait, where's your favorite place to do comedy? Or like that you've done comedy, I guess.
My favorite place?
Yeah.
It was Tapped, to be honest. It was like my favorite place. One, because it was so close to my house. And then two, I just really liked how small and intimate it was. But then, now I don't really know. Favorite place? Everywhere, man. My body.
Planet Earth. Yeah. Also, the listeners can't see this, but I think you have an imaginary beard that you stroke when you're trying to think.
Yeah.
It does help. There's something kind of that does help the thoughts go when you have a wizard beard. Yeah.
I've noticed though, I've transitioned to doing it up here, which is bad. Like I'm starting to be like this. And I'm like, oh, I should stop that one. But it just feels so good for some reason. I'm like massaging my head for people that are just listening.
Yeah, she looks like she's going through some immense grief.
Just thinking.
Yeah. But you just like rub your own shoulders. You're like, all right, come on, let me think about this.
Sorry, I thought I had a question, but I forgot what I was gonna say.
That's okay.
About that.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
So you guys are doing improv at the, where did you say?
It's the Westchester Collaborative Theater. So, so we've been doing these shows over there with Blind Tiger Improv for about a year?
I think so, yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, but it's a great space though. So we have a form that we developed over the pandemic. So yeah, it's been fun to do that. Yeah. Have you ever done any improv?
No. Yeah. No. I've watched it a couple times. But it really scares me. I'm not very good on my feet. Mm-hmm. Like I'm good conversationally. I swear, like I feel comfortable conversationally. But like if you ask me to like think about performing, like just as if it was conversation, there's no way I could do that. Yeah. It's not very good.
Yeah. What about crowd work? Do you have any time?
I was about to ask about
good at it. No, I have to like have something already set up in my head pretty much. Mm. Like I'm one of these, even like I tried so hard one time at this comedy club, Rhino, in Suffern. Mm-hmm. I tried so hard. There was one time this kid was just like, oh, no one has any shit tonight. Like, let's just pull topics out of a hat and like riff on it. And I was like, oh yeah, I could totally do that. And just like was just so like blatantly dumb. I was just like dumb and like so truthful. There was just nothing funny about it. I was just answering a question as if I would in real life. And I was like, this is not entertaining.
It's just talking.
This is just me talking. Like, it's not funny. So
yeah,
that's something I do.
What's your writing process usually like?
I do like the free write for a while, just like shit out whatever is in my head. And then I usually like go back and like grab whatever I think is like something I could make funny. Mm-hmm. And then I work on that and like why I think it's funny and then just like narrow that down. And then a lot of the times too, I'll just like throughout the day, just like write a little note of like whatever pops into my head. And then I'll try to make that funny in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever test out your material on your partner?
Some, yeah. Some stuff I do. If I'm like stuck in a rut and I like can't articulate something, I usually like ask him if he just thinks an idea is funny, like, you know what, like I'm always asking like, you know what I'm talking about? And he's just like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, okay, maybe this is just a me thing. So I'll still, so like we're always like doing stuff though, so sometimes he's not there and that's when I go to a mic and I'll do that. And sometimes they don't give a shit and they don't even answer. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, no, not listening. But yeah, sometimes.
You work in web design. What's something that people don't really understand about computers?
Oh my God. Probably that the internet is basically run by meth heads. The internet is run by meth heads. You guys probably know that now.
Please elaborate. Yeah. Please explain.
Yeah, people who like to do illegal things, or
yeah, just like people that like.
You mean the dark web?
Yeah, but like the dark web is just like it's not as scary as it thinks. You think it's just like a separate private internet, and like that's what they're trying to do eventually. Is like make, ideally, like a new internet where it's just like, do you guys work on Discord or anything? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
How they have like. Essentially, that works because it's like servers. So like you're talking in your own little box,
right? And
no one else can really break into it unless they hack it. But those are all like mini internets, and they want to make like subsections of the internet. Huh. And the dark web is just one subsection of the internet. But
what are your thoughts on the AI thing? The chat AI, whatever that website came out where they didn't kind of like Google, but separate from Google because they didn't want it to be biased, and then you Yeah, I use it in PR, so I was,
Oh, nice.
yeah, when they told us about it, I was like, what?
Yeah.
This thing writes
It's crazy.
articles, everything, yeah. Do you ever type stuff in there and you're like, write a joke about
No jokes. No, I don't do that. But my job did start using it too for like meta descriptions or something. And I think it's cool. I mean, I think it's really interesting. There's a whole bunch of worms that, like a can of worms that it's opening up for copyright issues, for like other artists, like specifically the generated art that people are starting to use.
Yeah.
It takes images from the internet, which is essentially people's work
Yeah.
and their like creativity. So they're getting kind of interested in how to sue for that, or just like how to go about that.
Yeah.
But AI it's I don't know. That's the Wild West. Like that's like the Wild West, like YouTube was, I suppose. But now, I mean, like I took a software engineering course and I learned all this shit during the pandemic, but it was through like children were teaching. Like there was like a 16-year-old was like, okay, so now we're going to go do, and I was like, you're 5 years old.
That's a really good voice.
But like they just go on the internet and like there's so many videos of just like children, but like they build the craziest shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they just get into it at such a young age now too. It's
Well,
like,
I grew up with it already evolved.
Yeah.
We grew up with it before, while it was evolving.
Yeah, today I was with my nieces today. They're 2 and 4, and at first I'm like obviously they like know how to use like phones and all this stuff. Like not I know there's no hesitation. They know how to use it.
Yeah.
And today we were like on TV, YouTube, and then an ad came on, and my niece goes, "That's my favorite ad." I'm like, "You have a favorite ad?" She's like, "I got that for Christmas." I'm like, "I guess it worked then."
I was gonna say about the AI thing. Were you talking about them trying to find out how to sue for copyright and the AI borrowing other people's? I mean, I get it. Art is to be, like influence, and people do like not the line between like, oh, is the art stolen or is it like an inspiration or an influence or you use it to like do something else or whatever. But like we're uncovering new ground with artificial intelligence, and they're coming like legally being like, oh, what are the terms and conditions for this, whatever. But just it made me think of like just how they had to do with Bill Gates when they didn't have, the U.S. government didn't have anything on when he was doing stuff with like Windows and monopolizing and they're like, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. You're controlling a lot of this sphere, but we don't have any laws against it. We don't have, and then they brought him to court and did that whole thing. So I'm just like, oh yeah, AI is also, I didn't even think of that legally. I'm like, you're right. It uses, I mean, obviously the information is processing, right? Everything that it's feeding into exists and other real people made it and did. I mean, what are your thoughts about like where tech is going in general? If it's AI or if it's like, I don't know, so much of our lives are through screens already, but yeah, just I guess the evolution of technology.
Yeah, it's definitely like all machine learning, artificial intelligence for everything. That's just like what they're teaching everyone. So like,
I mean, your job wouldn't
crazy.
exist.
Yeah.
Without.
I mean, at a certain point, most jobs are not going to exist.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Well,
yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll hit something, like maybe something will come in between and like stop the speed of everything, because I don't think that we have time to like process what this actually is gonna like turn into.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, everything is a machine, and like, yes, you are telling it like how to perform and like how to learn, but like, I don't know. Did you guys see that article that they like had 2 computers that were like talking to each other and like learning off of each other, and then all of a sudden like they like tried to like take over or something like that? I don't know. I'm blanking on like the specifics, so maybe I don't go into that. But, like,
yeah, there's a robot out there
like
that
the Will
like, hey, that didn't happen.
Yeah, right.
Which movie?
It's like, was that the Will Smith movie?
Oh,
iRobot.
Yo,
Yeah.
That movie knew. That movie effing knew.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We think it's gonna save us when we need like get in a car accident.
Yeah.
But then it takes over and do it like.
Yeah. One robot will be good. The rest will be bad.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Exactly.
Just find the good robot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The lottery.
It is a protagonist. It's about to start, right?
Right.
Yeah. All is good versus evil. Yeah.
Find Will Smith also, maybe.
Find Will Smith.
Maybe not now, but.
Well, maybe especially money now.
Yeah,
so maybe the bad robots need that bitch slap.
Yeah. That's when it all comes full circle. It's like the robot war happens and Will Smith saves the day by just smacking all the robots in the face because of their weakness.
He thinks all the other robots have Chris Rock's face.
Yeah.
He thinks all the bad robots are saying bad shit about Jada Pinkett Smith. Her name's coming out of all their mouths.
Yeah, he's basically like a giant hand that just smacks them all at once. Yes. Wow, that's like Robot 2.
It just comes circle.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But seriously, that movie did I don't know, art imitates life or playing the same.
Yeah. What's your favorite movie?
I hate that question.
It's so tough.
Yeah.
I like a lot of
okay.
movies.
I don't give a fuck about your feelings.
I like so many. I always fall back on dramas for sure. I do like a good drama. I like Bronson is probably one of my favorites.
Oh, good one.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I also like stupid stuff. Like Bridesmaids is honestly one of my favorite movies.
Good. Very solid.
Very solid.
Yeah.
And then I've recently rewatched Reservoir Dogs.
Classic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Highly suggest rewatch.
Yeah.
We did so my boyfriend and I like to do series of movies. So we'll go through and do we just did all the Quentin Tarantino's. And that was so fun.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Quentin?
I don't know, because I just said Reservoir Dogs really hit home.
Yeah.
I don't know, just something about everything. I don't know, it's just great.
It's just tight too, because the movie gets very long, which and they're great. They're always great because there's a lot of good stuff in them. But Reservoir Dogs just gets to the point and it's very very fleshed out.
The ending,
yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know, but then Inglourious Bastards came along, and I was oh shit.
Yeah.
And then I was just now I'm gonna change my favorite. It made it hard.
But then there's Pulp Fiction. How are we really doing this?
Yeah.
They're all so good.
Right. Yeah.
And
Django was also pretty high. Probably might be the top of my list.
Which one?
I don't know. Django. I just everything
good.
was just very complete. Yeah. Very enjoyable.
And then I really liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood too.
Didn't like it.
I didn't think I was going to, but I didn't like it.
It's okay, watch it more. Maybe you'll hate it like me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I only watched it once.
You guys should watch it so many times that you reverse opinions on it.
No, I get why people like it. I just don't think it's his best. I just didn't conversation for another day. But curious though, what else like series or rabbit did you?
We went to a James Cameron one, which was a weird one, but we went through it. From Titanic to Avatar. I was like, yes, let's do it.
Wait, did you watch the most recent Avatar?
No, I didn't.
I haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it. I don't have $75 to go to the movies right now.
We have AMC A-listers, so that's why.
I'm so jealous. I really want to do that.
It's worth
it. If you go to the movies as much as we do, it's worth it.
Yeah, I do. I live right there.
Yeah, literally, at this point now, if you go to the movies once a month, it's worth it because basically $25.
I mean, especially for an IMAX. For sure. Or anything in Dolby,
It includes that?
Yeah. The only thing it doesn't include is it's a weird dreamscape VR experience
that's
they have
in
the Garden State. But that's not included. But everything else.
Also, it's totally. I feel like I'm such a sales rep now because when people are like, oh my god, so sorry. Back up. When it was I was scrolling through Instagram, and this is how I got the news when they're AMC's they're going to change the price depending on the seat.
I know.
And they're gonna up whatever. And I was like, Jordan, oh my god, can you believe this? And he's like, yeah, but you have AMC A-listers. And he's like, so it doesn't matter. And I'm like, oh my god, you're right. But I was livid. I was in the first half, I was so mad. I was like, I can't believe they're doing this.
Reena goes from picketing AMC to sitting next to Nicole Kidman in the opening. Heartbreak does feel good in a place like this. Especially when you can see as many movies as you want.
Yes, but then I went that was when that came out. Then I was just any friend I was talking to, I was like, you have to get it now. I was like, it's not worth it. But then again, how are they going to track it? People were coming out with their comments and everything, and they're like, okay, I'll buy my seat that's really cheap, and then I'll just move to a different seat.
Yeah.
Because sometimes depending on when you go, it's not full. How are they going to keep track of that? You think the people that work at the theaters are going to?
Mostly not, yeah. What do you guys do if you go to a theater? Now it's all reserved seating. What do you do if you go there and someone's sitting in your seat? What's your because I had a movie the other day and I just
really? It did? theater packed?
It was like mildly packed. It was like the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, Knock at the Cabin. So it was like half packed, and I was like, trailers are starting already. Like, do I make a deal?
You tell them to move.
Yeah, but I was like,
I would
better see right there though. And I was like, I think someone else is sitting in it, and then no one came.
Yeah, but then you'd have to. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was nervous though. Every time someone walked in, I was like, it's a little dark. But like, I used to think whenever someone walked in that it was like a shooter. But now, like,
oh my god,
but it happens in theaters. I do legitimately get scared of that whenever I see someone walk in every single time. But this one day, I was like, oh my god, it's worse today. I'm worried that they're gonna want to sit in my seat. And they're a shooter. No, but anyway, so that's the question. What do you guys do when someone's sitting in your seat?
If the theater is packed, I tell them to move.
Yeah.
I'm like polite about it, but I have no problem putting someone in their place.
Wow.
If it's not,
Yes.
so bad.
Goals.
Yeah, Jordan's the one that's just like, like it's fine, like everything's like chill and and you like, I don't bother anybody, they're not bothering. I'm not a person where I would never, like, if I ordered something at a restaurant and it was wrong or something happened, I'll eat it, I'll take it. I'm never somebody who like return something or put it back or whatever, and I'm not saying intentionally someone sat in my seat or did whatever,
right.
But there are times where I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna just sit here and sulk it and be like move, like, but there are like, but then there are times where I'm just like, oh, this is a human being serving me at a restaurant, I'm not gonna be a dick, like I'm not, I don't think I'm an asshole 95% of the time on purpose, but then there's sometimes I feel like some people need like tough love. I think there's some people who just so used to like getting whatever and doing like whatever, and then they meet me. No. On
your reckoning.
But if it isn't a packed theater and there are a lot of seats, then I'm just like, yeah, what the fuck is it about? I'll just sit somewhere else. I don't care. It depends.
Yeah.
Depends. But that's my answer.
Yeah, I think that I would be a bad feminist, and I would turn to my boyfriend and say, I think they're sitting in our seat.
I don't think it's the I see myself more as like, I act like the guy. Yeah. So I don't think it's a I don't think it's
I
interesting.
I wasn't you a feminist either.
Okay, good.
No.
But I just wanted to clear, I don't view myself as a strong female person. To be honest, I view myself as like, oh, I'm channeling like guy energy. Growing up with dude. Honestly, that is how I view it. Where I'm just like,
no, I do that with other shit too. But like in a theater, sometimes I'm just like,
how are you about in general of like confronting people, or not at all? Like, you were not confrontational.
I think I'm either like zero out to like where you're like talking about. Like I'm either like right there in your face and being like almost like too blunt about it, like because that's just like the only. If I don't say it exactly like how I'm thinking it, then it's just gonna be like nothing at all. So I have to just be like, you, and then like it's interesting seeing people's reaction to how I say things sometimes, because I'll be like really blunt and they just won't expect it or like not know how to process it, I feel like. So I feel you. Yeah, to bring out the guy energy sometimes.
You gotta bring out that big dick energy.
Yes.
Jordan, you wouldn't ask a person to move?
Nah, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
I would
see,
definitely find a seat.
Yep.
I would even buy another seat. Just to avoid conflict,
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
You really won't. You'll totally avoid conflict all the way. You will not. But doesn't that make you uncomfortable? Don't you want to just like,
Yeah,
take
no,
control?
I'm always uncomfortable. Yeah. In every situation.
Wait, so what are the
Wait, but then I'm your partner, so then you'll do what she did. You turn to me and be like, hey, babe, you're sitting in a seat.
Right.
And then I'll come out like, I'm
then I'll pretend I threw a grenade and like cover my ears and like duck the opposite way.
Oh my god, are you comparing me to an explosion?
Yeah, but in a good way.
Yeah, good. Okay.
In a good way.
Reena the Explosion, that's what they call you.
You're really useful in military situations.
Yeah. Exactly. And at the end of the day, you get your seat. So
Right.
You're sitting in the right spot.
Yeah. After the big enough explosion, you get many seats, and people will be like, "Oh fuck, I want to stay to the left." I'll live for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, but how are you guys if people are being loud in a theater?
I'll give them one chance to stop, and then I get mad about it. So this is my 100. This is my other time.
Wait, but do you say something to them? Or you just sit there and
Brendan would be like,
No, because I definitely have done shush before. I'm like, that felt really rude to shush them. So I'll say, yo, be quiet.
What if they're kids?
Oh, I don't care. Dude, there was I was seeing Swiss Army Man, and there was a kid that was on his iPad and talking at the same time. I'm like, choose one. While the movie's happening, like, it's not even trailers. And I said, yo, can you stop that? Yeah, so it's always yo. I feel like I assert my thumb and say yo. And then, like, get slowly lower stats as I go on in the sentence. So.
What about you, Dayna?
Yeah.
I haven't, like, had an issue with that, but I feel like I would honestly just let them do it and be annoyed the whole time. But yeah, I would just probably like deal with it. It depends too on the movie, like if they and what they're saying and what they're saying.
Fair.
Like,
That's true.
if they're just talking and having like a weird conversation, then it's annoying. But if they're like talking to the movie, then it's like it's annoying, but like it could also be funny.
Thank you so much, Dayna, for this super delightful and pleasant conversation. We learned a lot. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did.
I hope you didn't pry too much.
No, I'm an open book. Ready for you guys.
Cool. Well, looking forward to your next chapter. Wow, that sounded lame as fuck. Dr. Phil's off the air. Time to put me on. I can't believe Dr. Phil's off the air finally.
Yeah. Well, it was lovely. We had a nice time. We also got to have some cake and tea in the middle, which is the most. If you ain't getting stoned and eating tea or drinking cake or strike that.
It's now a British podcast.
Exactly. Thank you for listening to Sessions with Mary Jane. Local K. But thank you guys for listening to Sessions with Mary Jane. Thank you, Dayna, for being here, and continue following. Oh wait, what's your handle? Where can people find all the stuff that you're doing?
So I'm mostly on Instagram. It's 5_ Dayna Marie, Dayna, because it's phonetic. And then I have a YouTube. It's the same handle, but mostly on Instagram.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yep. Well, thank you for listening, and continue following Late Night Hump stuff, because we'll also see you on Instagram at Late Night Hump. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.